Joining me now to talk about that and the Constitution and if we even have one anymore, Autry Pruitt. He's the CEO of the New Journey PAC. Jim Crow, what sense do these people believe this stuff, or do they think this actually motivates voters, or does it motivate voters and they're onto something?
No, they don't. They don't really believe the stuff. The reason why I know they don't believe it is because they trust the American banks. They put their millions of dollars into them. They buy homes, they go shopping, they buy Louis Vuitton bags, they do all sorts of things. That's how I know they don't believe it. Because if you really believe that you were in a Jim Crow era and that white male, is it cisgender? I can't quite remember the term, but whatever it is, we're really after you and to take your stuff, then you would not invest in the country. You would not put your money there. And all of these individuals have 2 or 3 homes, so they don't believe it. They don't believe it at all. Their goal is political power at the end of the day.
That is said. You at least like to imagine with feminist groups, say. You'd at least like to imagine the lady or two at the top genuinely is there because she cares about the rights of women or something like that. But they're all just hacks, every one of these front groups?
Well, I actually think if they were hacks, that would be tolerable. Right? Because a hack is just a person that really doesn't know what they're talking about. They're masquerading and they're pretending. These people know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly they're trying to take the old vestiges of race and turn individuals into victims and keep them victims and extract money from them and put them in their pockets, right? You see the emails coming from the Democrat Party. The emails are real simple. Hey, guess what? Send us $5, send us $10 today and help push back against the racism. I mean, this is like old crony televangelistic stuff, you know?
Oh, yeah, send $5 and we'll get you closer to Jesus. I know exactly which, it's the exact same thing, 100%. All right. I'm actually doing a show, as we're talking right now, about the Constitution and stuff. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to do it, because I don't know if I believe in it anymore. And this is what I mean. Let me explain myself. Mm-hmm. I think, yes, it was a wonderful document. I think we have lied to ourselves that piece of paper is going to protect us when the other side doesn't care about it at all. We talk about it all the time. I don't care if that thing was etched in stone by God himself. They would just break it up like Moses did the first time. They don't care about it, but we always bring it up. Why should I care about the Constitution?
Well, 3 things, Jesse. First of all, number 1, you're absolutely correct. But I would say this. Let's not even talk about the other side. Let's talk about our side. Okay. When you have a Supreme Court that says, oh, yes, government can fundamentally force you to buy health care, and that was an intention of the founding framers, well, we got a problem. When a court can say, oh, yes, you don't have any gun rights at all, none at all, right? And we're not going to enforce that. Do you have a problem? When the Supreme Court denies the fact that a Pennsylvania court overwrote the legislature when they said ballots had to be in within 3 days, and the judge in Pennsylvania said, no, it doesn't. It can be whatever the Secretary of State says it should be. And the court said, yeah, that's fine. We've got a problem on our own side. So when you say you don't believe in the Constitution and doesn't really matter, I'm almost with you because I doubt our own side. And then the second problem that you have is, although it should matter, for most people, it doesn't, because civil society and civics isn't taught in the classroom anymore. People don't even know the First Amendment. And this third part is, I've been telling Republicans this. When we want to argue something with censorship or any of this stuff, we need to talk about families. We need to talk about how when Facebook changes the algorithm, it puts 25, 30 families out of work. Yeah, it's a small news site. They only have 10,000 hits, and they get something viral every now and then. But when Facebook changes the rules of the game from when you signed up, real families suffer. If we learn to talk about real families, then we can make a pivot to Constitution. But for right now, I'm almost in agreement with you, man. People don't know the Constitution, not even our own side, even the judges on the bench.
Yeah. Oh, don't forget. I don't know what you're talking about, Autry. Don't you know those 9 gods on the Supreme Court gave us permission to have church only up to 25%, which is, of course, what the founders wanted. Of course, it's not like the First Amendment's there at all. And I loved it. Half of our own side thought it was a win. They thought that was a win. That we got permission from the gods and the Supreme Court. I'm floored by it.
You're 100%. Think about it this way. Even slaves were allowed to have church. I want us to think about that for a moment. Even slaves, people who the court said, well, you're not really human. You're sort of maybe 3/5 of a human. Even when they got together to worship, the court said, even their master said, well, okay, you want to have church? We'll let you do that at least on Sunday. We'll let you do that. So if slaves can have church at that time, and now all of a sudden we're in 2021 and people can't voluntarily go to a service, we got major problems. And the least of which is individuals not knowing the First Amendment. Because the people that do know it, John Roberts, Brett Kavanaugh, Bill Gorsuch, the people that do know the Constitution refuse to stand up for it. I don't know the reason other than maybe they want to be buddy-buddy with their wine-toasting friends in D.C. or lockdown D.C., as they call it now.
Autry, when I hear stuff like what you and I just talked about when it comes to churches and such, it makes me awfully nervous for the coming gun battles I know are coming, and you know they're coming. The left has wanted them forever.
Yeah.
They've never had the political clout to get them. I think they feel like they have enough momentum now to get something done, and you'll have to excuse me if I don't think the Supreme Court will be this absolute wall protecting my rights. I just don't have any faith in it anymore.
Yeah. Listen, I 100% agree with you. I'll put it this way. The Supreme Court can't even get on the same page about a wall surrounding our borders, right? They have walls around D.C. right now, gates with barbed wire, razor wire, and we can't get on the same page about borders. So you can forget about guns, forget about religious rights, forget about the First Amendment. Just forget about it. And until the real solution, there's 2 solutions here, I really believe. The real solution is, 1, the repeal of the 17th Amendment, right? Getting states together to say, you know what, we want to have the direct election of senators. So that way states' rights are protected. I think that would help tremendously. And then two, some people are going to be like, oh, no, it's the law. But I'm saying you need activist conservative judges that are willing to say, forget about precedent. If it's not constitutional, I'm voting against it every single time, and you just got to figure it out. It doesn't matter if it's been the law for 50 years. Figure it out. It's unconstitutional, period. End of sentence. Not 25%, not 30%, not strict scrutiny versus liability. Just, it's not constitutional. All of these little tests that the Supreme Court puts in there are academic exercises to make them feel better about themselves. They have nothing to do with the fact that an average, ordinary person should be able to take that document, read it, and understand it. And if you can't do that, then it's not constitutional. I'm sorry, end of sentence. It's a job for the states.
I agree. Autry, Pruitt, I mean, I'd repeal the 19th Amendment, but that's just me. Autry, thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.